It's January in Hollywood, baby. That means this month we'll get some awful comedies, awful horror films, and awful action flicks. And just when I thought The Beekeeper was going to be one of those awful action flicks, it actually kind of surprised me. It wasn't that bad. Directed by David Ayer, the hit and miss director behind films such as Fury, End of Watch, and Harsh Times. The Beekeeper stars the always badass Jason Statham, coming a long way from his transporter days. Statham plays Adam Clay, a retired dude that rents out a garage space from a sweet old lady so that he can take care of bees and just make a little bit of honey. When Eloise, the sweet old lady, gets scammed out of millions of dollars by a predatory fishing company, she commits suicide, thus sparking Adam Clay out of retirement to completely destroy those who prey on the elderly. So I just want to be clear, this isn't some action masterpiece. In fact, it's pretty ridiculous. The dialogue at times is silly, some of the characters are just plain awful, and the story is just bonkers. Yet, all that being said, I kind of enjoyed it. I was surprisingly entertained throughout its runtime. Granted, I have no intention of ever watching this again, but I did have fun with what I got. The one thing that surprised me was how cathartic the movie was. I don't know about you personally, but I can't stomach people who scam others out of thousands of dollars. It boils my blood. People who prey on the elderly or the ignorant are garbage people. So when Jason Statham starts going around and kicking these people's asses, it's hard not to find some satisfaction from it. The scamming company is portrayed in an over-the-top manner that's so unbelievable, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, its over-the-top existence is just there for Statham to utterly destroy it. And I actually really like Statham in The Beekeeper. He's a quiet badass and he fits into the role with ease. And of course he gets to flex his action muscles, which I must say, I don't know how old he is, but the dude still got it. He's a dominating presence in every action scene he's in, and the guy doesn't miss a beat. If I'm being honest, I haven't seen many of Statham's movies, the films where he's the protagonist, but after seeing The Beekeeper, I kind of want to go back and watch some of them because he's obviously a badass. To be fair, there's really only one fight sequence that I found to be truly memorable in this movie, but that being said, the action throughout is never really dull and it gets the job done. The one-on-one fight scene towards the end of the film with the one-legged guy was genuinely an awesome fight scene, and arguably the most memorable fight scene I can think of involving Jason Statham. Outside of Statham and the action, the other positive I want to point out is Josh Hutcherson's performance. Hutcherson plays Derek Danforth, the young, immature man that Jason Statham is after. Hutcherson is fucking awesome in this movie. Please give this man his own movie, please put him in more things. I found him to be so devilishly charismatic. I hated his character, and I hated him so much because Hutcherson does such a great job. Now, I'm not saying this is an Oscar-winning performance or anything. I'm just saying that for this role in this particular movie, he was fantastic. Every scene he's in, you can't take your eyes off of him, and you believe him as a character. We all know someone like Derek Danforth, and I think Hutcherson plays him cool. It's not a showy, over-the-top performance. His performance was the clear standout for me. Where the film falls apart is in its completely obnoxious plot and its two FBI characters. Let's start with the FBI duo. I have a mission for you. Can you find me a character that is more unconvincing as an FBI agent than Agent Parker in this movie? Agent Parker is the most unbelievable FBI agent I think I've ever seen in a movie. It is wild how unbelievable it is. It's like they didn't even try to make her a convincing FBI agent. It is laughably bad. Her dialogue is immature. She barely does any real investigating, and her behavior is that of like a 13-year-old girl. I'm not trying to pick on actress Emmy Lampton here, because at the end of the day, some blame has to be put on the writer or director for this character, but my god was it awful. Not to mention that her subplot isn't all that interesting. See, as Statham is out there kicking ass and lighting people on fire, Agent Parker is just there to talk about the aftermath of everything that Statham's character does. That's literally all she does for half this movie. Jason Statham will continue on his mission, run into an obstacle in his way, take care of it. Then by the next scene, we're standing at the crime scene with Agent Parker and her partner discussing what's happening and who's doing it. It is rather dull given the fact that we as an audience know who's doing it. We literally watched him do it. Not to mention we know the motivations of why he's doing it. We are 2 steps ahead of the FBI agents, and that's never a good sign. And ultimately, in the end, nothing really happens or gets resolved with Agent Parker's character. I mean, I guess there's a resolution, I suppose, but we don't really care. We don't care because the movie doesn't care. Agent Parker's contribution to the story was inconsequential. Then there's just the ridiculous story. What starts as a small story of a man on a quest of revenge to get those responsible for causing his friend to commit suicide quickly escalates to a plot that is much larger. This is one of those, and it goes straight to the top kind of movies. Part of me loves how stupid this movie got, but if I'm being honest, it's pretty bad. And I have a drinking game for you. Anytime someone starts using a bee metaphor to describe the actions of Adam Clay, take a drink. It was hard not to laugh every time someone brought up the function or ecosystem of bees to describe the plot of the movie. The movie thinks it's clever, but it's just plain old corny. All in all, this movie wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had some pretty low expectations going in, and I was pleasantly surprised. It reminded me of the 90s action movies I grew up with, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies or the Steven Seagal movies. Those movies were never really all that great, but it didn't matter because their sole existence is to showcase an action star doing badass shit. And The Beekeeper is no different. Is it a great movie? Not really. But it's dumb fun, one that showcases how much Jason Statham can kick ass. For some, that'll be enough. For others, it won't. There are no reviews out at the time of recording this, so I don't know how this will end up critically. My guess is that it won't be received well. But I had fun with it. If you just want to watch Statham doing kick-ass stuff, then this will be the movie for you. If you like this review, please check out my review for Founders Day, a film that is so bad that I loved it, and consider it to be one of the best slasher film I've seen in years. So if you have a minute, please give that video some love. Thanks for watching. Cheers.